Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the second video for the Chapter 1, Section 1 notes in your Glencoe McGraw-Hill Algebra 2 textbook. This video will cover formulas and how to use them, which again is a skill we should already have. So a formula is defined as a mathematical statement which expresses a relationship between specific values. When we talk formulas here, we have all kinds of formulas that we use. We have area formulas, we have parameter formulas, we have volume, surface area, Pythagorean theorem, we have distance formula, midpoint formula. There are literally hundreds of formulas that are used in mathematics, so we need to be familiar with how to use them. So to do that, we're just going to look at a few examples. Essentially what's going to happen is they're going to give you a formula in the problem, and they will expect you to use it. So our example says the volume of a cone is given by the formula, and then they give us the formula. The volume equals 1/3 pi r squared h, where r is the radius of the base. So we need to make sure we make a note of that. R is the radius of the base, and h is the vertical height of the cone. Find the volume of a cone with a radius of 3 feet. So right here they tell us a radius, 3 feet, and a vertical height of 32 inches. So that's our height. So the first thing you need to notice is that we have a radius in feet and we have a height in inches. That is a problem. We cannot have different units. So we need to start by multiplying the 3 feet by 12 inches to turn it into 36 inches. We need everything to be in the same measurement. It is usually easier for us to turn things into the smaller unit of measure. So, our next step here will be to break out our formula. Volume equals 1/3 times pi, which is a number, 3.14159, etc., times the radius, which is 36 squared, times the height, which is 32. Now, from there, this is order of operations. So we should start by squaring 36. So we would have 1/3 pi times, and then we need to multiply 36 times 36 on our calculator. So 36 squared is 1296, 1296, and then times 32. Now from there we're multiplying, so we'll do 1/3 times 1296, which is 432. Notice I'm leaving the pi alone because I'm going to try to give an exact value. And then 432 times 32 gives us a volume of 13,824 pi cubic inches. Now if we multiply that by pi and convert it to a decimal, that is approximately 43,429.38 cubic inches. But really, I would prefer the exact answer here in our Algebra 2 class. Okay, so that brings us to the next step in the process, the next example. So let's see here. Our next example is a standardized test style question. We have 3 different figures. Figure A, which is a right circular cone. Figure B, which is a sphere. And figure C, which is a square pyramid. Now, you'll notice that all the measurements we need are given, as are all of the formulas. All the formulas are at the upper right. In fact, and this is a very standardized practice, standardized testing thing to do, they've actually included an equation that we do not need. We do not need the surface area equation for a sphere because we are putting the following figures in order by their volume. So we have no interest in the surface area. So we need to do a volume equation for each of these 3 shapes. We start with the cone. When we have a cone, We have r, which is a radius, and h, which is a height that we need to figure out. If you notice, those are both given to us. We have r equals 3 and h equals 4 in the picture. So all we need to do is plug directly into the volume equation for a cone, which volume is 1/3 pi times the radius squared times the height. Now you'll notice in the directions it says use pi equals 3.14. So we'll plug that in as well. 1/3 times 3.14 times 3 squared times 4. And then we're going to use order of operations. So we'll start by squaring the 3. 1/3 times 3.14 times 9 times 4. And then we will multiply all of that together. Now we don't need to show every single step of that. We can simply feed it to our calculator. Our calculator is programmed to give us proper order of operations. So 1/3 times 3.14 times 9 times 4 is 37.68 centimeters cubed, because they tell us all numbers are in centimeters. So our volume for figure A is 37.68 cubic centimeters. Figure B is a sphere. Again, they tell us everything we need to know. The radius is 2 centimeters. All we need for that is pi and the radius. The radius cubed, so that'd be 2 cubed. So again, we're going to plug in our value for pi, 3.14. Then we're going to carry out order of operations, which means we're going to start with the exponent. Gives us 4/3 times 3.14 times 8. And then we're going to feed that to our calculator to carry out the multiplication. So 4/3 times 3.14 times 8 is 33.493 repeating, so we'll go ahead and round that off, centimeters cubed. Finally, in figure C, we have to do a little bit more work because this capital B is the area of the base. So we need to start by finding the area of the base. Well, the base is a 5 by 5 square. So to find that, we do length times width, which is 5 times 5, or 25 square centimeters. The 6 is our vertical height, or h. So the volume of our pyramid is 1/3 times the area of the base times the height, or 1/3 times 25 times 6. Again, we're going to feed that to the calculator. 1/3 times 25 times 6 is exactly 50 square centimeters, or cubic centimeters. That's for figure C. So comparing those three numbers, we're supposed to list them in order from least to greatest. The smallest volume is figure B, the second smallest is figure A, and the largest is figure C. So we should answer with B, A, C. That completes our section 1-1 notes. There will be additional videos for the remainder of the chapter.